All right, get out your mental painting tools today, painting supplies. We're going to be talking about, how we would share our life story if we could do it in a painting or a drawing today. What has your life been like? What has it meant to you? You may have lived a full life by now. How would you represent that in a painting? If you had the skill, maybe some of you do have the skills to be great painters. I'm Jerry Usher with Debbie Georgiani. It's Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. And Debbie, I'm looking forward to this discussion today because this will tell a lot about who we are and how we've seen our lives up to at least this point.
That's true. I couldn't hold back the giggle, Jerry, because when you said, get out your mental painting, I was thinking my Crayola crayon box, and I was thinking, we were talking about colors, and I love how you used in the show synopsis about tapestry. You know how I love that, when all the different nuances of our life come together and form that beautiful tapestry that God, He knows every hair on our head. So He has seen that tapestry. He has seen that unfold. We're living it. And it's very interesting when you said, put colors to it, Jerry. I really struggled with this last night, but then this morning I had this huge kind of feeling of, wow, I think I get it. I think I see where he's going with this. So I'm looking forward to see where our listeners are going to take this. And so if you, we're going to share a little bit more about the foundation of the show and where it's come from. And then you take, pick up your phone and just you take over. Okay. Your wisdom, what you have to share is going to help all of us. 1-800-585-9396.
Well, and Debbie and I often say we are not counselors or therapists or anything, and this show has absolutely nothing to do with psychoanalyzing, what we would put down on a drawing if we were to do that. We just want to be able to maybe have each one of us look back and, dictate what our life was like and the blessings that we have received. Maybe you were an especially athletic person, and so the painting of your life, the story of your life would be you on skis racing down a mountain, or swimming in a pool or a lake or something. Maybe it would be you with a loved one, your spouse, for example. You've had just such a beautiful relationship with your spouse that you would sum up the greatest part of your life as being with that one that God gave you for a lifetime. It could be your family. Maybe it could depict a career that you made very, very successful. So this is what we're trying to get into today. 1-800-585-9396. By the way, I'm not a painter by any means. I can barely do stick figures. And see, that's the thing, Debbie. When we were kids, we all colored pictures.
Exactly.
And it wasn't just random stuff. This was stuff where we saw ourselves in our lives. Right. And so it's just kind of an adult version of that exercise right now.
Well, thinking about that, Jerry, let's go back to our childhood. Given, this is kind of like sort of tailing off of this show today. But if you were to ask me to draw a picture right now, I would probably draw the same picture I drew when I was a child. It's the exact same one. As a matter of fact, I remember doing it with my children, and it's the exact same picture. It has a very big tree. It has a swing set. It has mountains in the background, and it has a sun rising. Okay, not a sunset, but a sun rising, and it's very interesting. I grew up in Jersey. My girlfriend Kristen and I, who best friends growing up, she had a swing set with a big tree. Okay, maybe that's why I loved it so much, because we used to swing and had this carefree lifestyle. We just loved it as kids. But there was mountains in the background and a sunrise. Very interesting. I didn't know I was going to end up in Arizona where there's mountains. When I grew up, there wasn't really mountains there. I mean, they were covered, with the trees and stuff. So there wasn't those kinds of mountains that we have in Arizona. But the interesting thing is the sunrise. I find that so fascinating because I love that as a child. And I realize that's so much of me because I tend to look at things, the glass half full instead of half empty. I look at the brighter side of things. It's very interesting. But when you were saying that, Jerry, I started laughing because I thought, how boring. I have the same exact picture my whole entire life. But then I realize it's so part of me. It's part of my identity.
Well, we've got some lines filling up right now. A couple others are still open. 1-800-585-9396. It's kind of an adult version of an exercise you may have done as a child, but we are just simply asking you, as you reflect on your life, and this could take a couple of minutes for you to ponder this and then make that call, but who are you? What is the person that you are right now, and how have you been shaped by your life experiences? And then, if you were to kind of convey that in a painting, if you were to be an expert painter, had all the paints and the easel and all of the supplies and all of that, would it express joy? Would it express sadness? Maybe a little bit of grief? Maybe a mixture of several different themes or emotions? What about a mood or colors? That kind of thing. I think for me, Debbie, I actually have a painting hanging in my hallway here at my house that is very close to what I would do as a painting for my life, and it's got lots of beautiful mountains and so forth. It's got a river kind of weaving through it all, and the way I would see that is the mountains represent opportunities, but they also represent obstacles,
right?
And challenges, and majesty and God and all of that. I call the painting River of God, actually, because it's kind of like got this waterfall that flows down, and then the river, snakes out after that. And right. I just feel like, because my life it's been one of, like everybody, ups and downs, challenges, twists and turns, but it's beautiful at the stage where I am right now, and I'm hoping that's the case for those who are going to call in today as well.
So tell us about the painting of your life. We want to hear what colors it would be, what it would look like, what would it feel like? Is it a joyous painting? Is it something filled with a lot of sadness? We're doing this together, okay? We're all in this together. And believe me, what you have to share is going to help other souls, especially getting through the holiday season, because I will tell you, sometimes the holiday season can really drag you down, but we can hear inspiring stories from you. So if you could help us out, dial in 1-800-585-9396. This is your show, Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. When we come back, Terry is first up, is going to share with us her painting of her life.
This is Al Cresta, host of Cresta in the Afternoon.
Hi, this is Dan Burke from the National Catholic Register.
This is Bishop Robert Barron of the Archdiocese of Los Angeles. Have a blessed Advent from all of us at EWTN Radio.
Post your intentions on the prayer wall on Jerry and Debbie's website. To get there, just click on the bright yellow J&D logo at take2show.com. Jerry and Debbie personally reply to every prayer intention that's posted. Others will also offer you their prayer support. When there's something important you want prayers for, post it on the prayer wall on Jerry and Debbie's site. Visit take2show.com, click on the J&D logo today.
Be touched by the sacredness of the Most Blessed Sacrament, the resting place of Mother Angelica Plus Tour the EWTN campus. Start your Catholic pilgrimage today with EWTN. Call 205-271-2966.
The wisdom of Mother Angelica.
I would like to recommend that as we really get close to Christmas, that we should keep Jesus in our mind. It is His birthday. Christmas Eve, the sisters and I sing Happy Birthday to Jesus. Same old happy birthday song that you say when one of your loved ones is having a birthday. Happy birthday to you, that kind of thing. I think He enjoys that. Buy your gifts and get your turkey and decorate your tree, but do it for Him. He came unto His own, and His own received Him not. In the beginning was the Word. And the Word was with God, and the Word was God. He came and lived among us, and the Word was made flesh and dwelt among us.
For more information on Mother Angelica, visit Religious Catalog at EWTNRC.com.
This is your show, Take Two, with Jerry and Debbie on EWTN Radio. Thanks to Rich, Matt, Jeff, Tom, Mike, don't want to miss anybody, all the show team, our affiliates, and you. Today we're talking about painting a picture that would maybe kind of sum up or depict the life that you have lived. Hopefully it's been more blessings than challenges, more highs than lows. What is the story, the life story that you would portray as a painting if you could do that? 1-800-585-9396. Maybe there's a scripture passage, kneeling in front of Jesus, receiving his mercy or forgiveness. Maybe that would be how you would sum up your life, or maybe it's just some other, maybe being at the foot of the cross, or maybe it's something in scripture or a book that you read, or just a chain of life experiences. 1-800-585-9396.
I just wanted to share, too, today's the feast of Our Lady of Guadalupe. Wonderful feast. And also tonight at sundown is the beginning of Hanukkah. So we wanted to wish all of our family and friends, our Jewish family and friends, happy Hanukkah. But our feast of Our Lady of Guadalupe, very important feast, and she's the patroness of the Americas, which I think is just so powerful. And I love that. And you talked about our affiliates, Jerry. I just wanted to quickly say that one of our wonderful affiliates, Station of the Cross. Great gentleman Steve in the Boston area who listens as part of the Station of the Cross family asked us if we could just ask for the intercession of Our Lady of Guadalupe for a friend's mother, Johanna, who just received a diagnosis of cancer. And they were asking for the intercession of Our Lady of Guadalupe. So, Johanna, please, if you're listening right now, the Take Two family, we're prayer warriors. And of course we love Our Lady of Guadalupe. And we will ask that she intercede on your behalf, especially going through the treatments and everything that you need to do. Because, Jerry, you know how I feel about the whole cancer diagnosis. I like to always get to the part where we can say we're cancer thrivers, not cancer survivors. So you can count on our prayers. And that's the beauty of Take Two, Jerry. I love how we are a family, and that's why we need your participation. So call in. Don't sit this out and just kind of sit back and enjoy it, saying, that's a cool picture that Jerry's painting or a cool picture that Debbie's painting. We want to hear about your picture of life. 1-800-585-9396.
All right, as promised, Terry is first in Peoria, Illinois, listening on St. Bernadette Radio. Hi, Terry. Welcome to Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. Paint your picture for us.
Well, do you remember seeing the scene at the end of The Passion of Christ with the big teardrop that fell from the sky?
Oh,
yes.
God the Father's tear. Mm-hmm. Well, my picture would be actually many teardrops within the teardrop. And in those teardrops would be many sorrowful teardrops, but a copious amount of joyful teardrops. Because without the dark tears, your picture would not be beautiful because you couldn't tell the bright then. It's like when you outline a picture, those darker teardrops would just be the outline of what's really beautiful on the inside.
That's beautiful, Terry. Yeah, and the saying, I don't know to whom or what it's attributed, but I'm sure we've all heard it during the night. As the night is passing, it's always darkest right before the first streaks of dawn appear. And I think every life is going to have those dark, challenging, sad, grieving moments. Thing is, the human spirit is so resilient, Debbie. I think that we are naturally wired to want to be joyful and to be happy, and so we can thankfully overcome those sorrowful things like Terry is talking about here. Her life has had many of those, but yet she really, it seems like, wants to emphasize on the joy that has been in her life.
Yeah, to appreciate the happy tears, and that's very interesting, Terry. I when you first said when you talked about the Passion of the Christ, and you talked about that one powerful, profound tear that came down, all of a sudden, you feel that the sadness, but you're right. There's an abundance of tears of joy, and we can experience them really on a regular basis. I love that I'm getting a visual kind of feeling. Excuse me. I'm getting a visual. There's that frog again. I'm telling you, there's a frog in Arizona and I can't get rid of it. I think I'm going to name him Ribbit. Anyway, Terry, I love the image of that because I think it's very deep, and it allows us to enter into this appreciation of, we can recognize, we can appreciate the joy if we recognize what we have to go through to even understand that joy. So I love it. I mean, there's so much to that. that. There's a lot of depth to it. I think that's a story all in and of itself. But thank you for sharing that. I'm just wondering, do you have anything in your house that actually depicts that, or is that just something that you have in your mind?
No, but I am an artist, and that would be something that I would maybe attempt one day, But when you just asked, that's the first thing that came into my mind.
There you go.
That's me.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go, Terry. Way to get us started.
One other thing, just with that teardrop from God the Father in that movie, he certainly had a tear of sorrow in that, but it was a major tear of joy because it was the salvation of his other children.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. And even in our own cases, we can cry we could sob tears of sorrow and grief, and yet they can be with a backdrop or an understanding that it's really over something great. I mean, the loss of a loved one who had been away from the faith and they came back to the sacraments and died in the loving embrace of God. Yeah, we shed tears of grief and sorrow and loss, but there's got to be tears of happiness mixed in with that. So, Terry, thank you so much. 1-800-585-9396. Painting your picture, your life. What would your life look like as a painting? That's our question for you today. Donna is next, listening in Battle Creek, Michigan. Donna, thank you for joining us on Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. You are up next. Hello, Donna.
Hi. So this is where instantly, when you said it, the picture that came to my mind that I would paint for myself would be when Jesus is walking on the water and he tells Peter to come to him, because Jesus is always calling each and every one of us to come to him. And so we start out in that trust, and sometimes that trust wavers and we start to sink. But Jesus always rescues us. So mine would be more of the rescuing, I guess, after Peter starts to sink, when Jesus starts to rescue him. That would be mine, because he's always rescued me.
Yes, I know. And all of us, Donna, I tell you, I love that image. Do you have that in your home? Because I tell you what, you can Google that online, and that image is there. And if I actually bought a picture of it.
I was at a thing at church, and an artist had come, and I bought a picture because it immediately jumped out and spoke to me, because that's very telling of my entire life of not trusting, but him always rescuing me. Always, without question, he always does.
Because he loves you. He loves you so very much. If Donna was the only person ever on this earth, he still would have been born, and he still would have died, and he still would have suffered for Donna. That's how awesome his love is. And so many times we don't even recognize it. But you having an image like that in your home, you can constantly remember that, of how he's always there for you, no matter what. Pretty awesome.
Always. For everybody. And I'm so glad that you said that, if it had only been me, but if it had only been every single person out there listening, Jesus would have come and died for you and rescued you every single time, even if it had been only you. It's taken me a lot of years to understand that and learn that, but I'm getting it.
Well, Donna, you just shared it with the whole world, actually, too, and there are a lot of people who needed to hear what you shared today on the program. So we thank you deeply and sincerely, and wish you a blessed Advent, and when the day comes, a very, very Merry Christmas season to you and yours. Thanks for joining us on Take Two with Jerry and Debbie.
Thank you, and the same to you.
Okay.
Thank you, Donna. Wow, this is turning in my little swing set with the tree. I mean, this can't even compare to what everybody is sharing. I'm telling you, see, this is what I mean, Jerry. I live a very boring life. I've got to have a little more oomph like our listeners. I love this. Let's go to the next one. Paul, you're driving through Michigan, listening on Sirius XM 130. Hi, Paul. Tell us the painting, or share with us the painting of your life.
Hello. My painting 5 years ago versus now. 5 years ago, I had a beautiful sunny day. I had grass, trees, a home, all my family and friends. It was beautiful, colorful painting. That's what it would have been. And since then, I've been separated, and so it's kind of like all of the color is gone. And the only light I I'll have the sunshine above me, but there's just one ray, and it's coming down right on me, and just kind of everything. Right now, everything around is dark, but that ray of hope, that ray of sunshine, telling me that God's there and the color will return one day. That'd be my painting for today.
Wow. Well, Paul, it's really interesting how you kind of did a little bit of a time lapse, what it would have been like and what it is like today. And I'm not a painter, but neither one of you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I have heard so often that a lot of paintings, the final version of paintings end up being completely different than what the artist set out to do. In fact, the artist will kind of get started on a painting and then realize, wait a minute, I don't like this over here. So actually just paint over what they've already painted. And I've heard this before, how sometimes, great works of art have been discovered to have been altered by the artist during the production process. So I think maybe that's one way you can look at this, Paul, is just that, like you said, you have that ray of light coming down and you have that ray of hope, and that leaves you in a good place, that door open for you to change the painting again, maybe in a year or 2 or 3 or 5 years. So, Debbie, I just wanted to try to offer some encouragement to Paul, but it sounds like he is got that seed of encouragement already.
Well, yeah, the ray of hope, absolutely, Paul. The only thing that I would just encourage you, Paul, is because I could share that same story that you're sharing with things changing in your life, in your situation with your family. But I will tell you that you go through these dark periods in life, but the painting, I believe, God has a much more colorful future. And the reason why I say that is because, I'm going to cry because I know exactly where you are, Paul. I know exactly where you are. And let me tell you something. God has great things planned for you. He has great things planned for you. It's more than a ray of hope, Paul. You have to believe that. I'm living proof of it, because I could have written that. I could have painted that same picture as yours with just a ray of hope, and that would have kept me going. But I'll tell you what, if I had to draw my painting now today, it's way more colorful. As a matter of fact, I even wrote down here that I would have used every crayon in the box. And much more than 10, 15 years ago. So Paul, does that offer you any hope just by knowing that there's someone else, your sister in Christ, me, who has lived it?
Yeah, no, I know there's something better coming, but
it's hard. You're in a hard place right now. I get it. But you know what? Just like Donna, God is carrying you. He is with you. And trust me when I say this, I know it because I'm living proof of it. I can't keep saying it enough. God has better things planned for you. He will just stay faithful to Him like you are. And He will bring you to places you never thought you could be at, where you'll grow closer to Him. Now, I'm not saying that, all the things that you went through it wasn't sorrow and sadness. Absolutely. It's painful to have a split in your family. It's horribly painful. However, God's ultimate goal is to bring you united with Him. So always remember that and focus on that and experience it. Look to the future instead of looking to the past.
What do you think,
I know.
Paul?
I'm trying. Thanks.
Yeah, and Paul, just a final word that I would add here, too. If you're a longtime listener to the show, you've heard me mention that in 2011, I could probably do the same thing that you did, paint a different picture 6 years ago than what mine would be like today. Mine today, thanks be to God, is very bright and colorful and all of that. But as a lot of our listeners know, in 2011, I went through a very, very dark period, depression. It was very, very serious. It was horrific, and I would not have painted. There would not have been any sunshine in the picture. There would not have been that ray of hope, Paul. And let me tell you something. Anyone who's been through a real dark depression, you go through life and you don't see colors. I did not. The sky was not blue. The trees were not green. The sun was not bright. It's like walking around in this sort of gray fog. And I thank God that he's brought me out of it. But I share that with you, Paul, just maybe by way of a little bit of encouragement that I had no hope and other people hoped for me. Debbie was one of them. Debbie and so many others just kept assuring me. And I used to really get almost angry with them and say, no, it's not going to get better. And they said, yes, it will. So I just want to say, along with Debbie, Paul, that our prayers are with you, and God has you, he has you wrapped up, as one of my priest friends said when I was going through mine, and I said, God is not anywhere to be seen. He says, well, God is holding you so tight, you can't see him right now.
That's right.
So, Paul, hope that offers you a little bit more hope and encouragement. And keep us posted. Call in the show anytime, and please know that you can rely on not only the prayers of me and Debbie, but the entire Take Two family. So, Paul, thank you for calling. I'm grateful for that.
Thank you, Paul. You can always email us, too, at take2, 2, at EWTN.com. We're with you in prayer, Paul. Please try to feel the prayers. See, that's the thing. A lot of times the prayers are happening all around us, and sometimes we don't take that time to just sit and be and feel them because they're there. They're real. It's powerful. Okay, we're going to hit the pause button, and when we come back, we're going to go to Kay, who's been waiting so patiently in Phoenix, Arizona. I'm wondering if this is our Kay, my dear, dear, sweet friend. Let's see if it is. If not, she'll be my new friend, Kay. But we're going to take hit that pause button, and when we come back, we want to hear more about your paintings of life. You know, we're in this together. This is what it's all about. 1-800-585-9396.
Yeah, as you've heard from the callers who have been on the air already, and after Kay, we've got Mary and Lester and Ray. Just simply asking you today, as you look back over your life, highs, lows, ups and downs, excitement, successes, achievements, failures, if you were to put that down on canvas as a painting, what would stand out in that painting, that picture? How would you depict that? 800-585-9396.
The Trump administration rolls back the Health and Human Services contraceptive mandate.
U.S. bishops calling for the total elimination of nuclear weapons.
Pope Francis offers prayers for the victims of the California wildfires.
The U.S. House of Representatives has passed a bill banning abortions after 20 weeks.
And Pope Francis says the death penalty is contrary to the gospel.
Your link to news headlines Catholics count on at the top of the hour. Weekdays on EWTN Radio.
I'm Doug Keck, and welcome to an EWTN Bookmark Brief. We just finished an interview with Jeff Cavins on his new book, When You Suffer, Biblical Keys for Hope and Understanding. Jeff, give us a quick synopsis.
Well, the book really goes deep into the meaning of suffering, all the way from having a less than ideal day to really tremendous loss in your life. What do you do in the middle of it? How do you make this a redemptive event? And finding the meaning in your suffering really gets back to finding the meaning in Jesus' suffering. And if you're in Christ, all things are new. He has redeemed every bit of your life, including your suffering. So in your suffering, you have an opportunity to love and participate in the cross, just as Jesus did. And that's where you find the meaning or the answer to what we know as offer it up.
Very good. When You Suffer, Biblical Keys for Hope and Understanding by Jeff Cavins. Look for the entire interview here on EWTN. Coming soon to bookmark, available through the EWTN Religious Catalog. Thank you for joining us here on this Bookmark Brief.
Hi, this is Anna Mitchell, host of the Sunrise Morning Show. Who prepares for Christmas better than a child? I think back to my eager anticipation as a kid. I couldn't wait for Christmas morning. Am I awaiting the newborn king with that same eagerness I awaited Santa? And not that Jesus is expecting cookies and milk, but how am I preparing my heart to make him feel at home? Every Advent, we have the opportunity to recapture that innocent spirit of wonder at his arrival. Let us pray today for such a gift. From all of us here at the Sunrise Morning Show, have a blessed and fruitful Advent.
The phones we shall go here on Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. We're talking about the painting of your life, the picture of your life. We want to hear from you. So 1-800-585-9396. When a line becomes open, jump right in. Well, Kay did just that from Phoenix, Arizona, listening on Sirius XM 130. Hi, Kay. Welcome.
Hi, Deb. Hi, Debbie and Jerry.
Hi, it is our Kay. Hi, Kay.
It is our Kay. So I have you on speakerphone in my car, so does it sound fine?
So far, good. Yeah. Yep.
Okay, great. Okay, so the first thing I thought of when I heard your prompt was sailing on the ocean in a boat, and it's the sun is rising, and there's other boats that are sailing with me. So I was thinking that, life is like being on the ocean. There's calm, there's waves, there's storms, but I always have that anchor, which is Jesus, that I can drop when the storm hits. And then the other boats are my community or my adult children, and we're all, going in the same direction.
Wow.
That is very cool.
Kay, you are so ministry driven, and the picture is so much of you, because the way you said all the other boats going, with you in the same direction, and that's you. I love that about you, because you've always wanted, with the Bible studies you have led, and you just continue to encourage others to jump in and to study their faith, to know their faith, and you want others to travel along with you. I love that scene. I think that's so you, Kay.
Thank you. And then, what I was thinking of the sunrise, because I love watching the sunrise. I can see it from my backyard every morning. And I just think of, God's mercy is new every day. It's a new day. You listen to the birds. Everything comes alive in the morning. It's just such a hopeful time of the day.
Yeah, Kay, actually, that's exactly the thought I just had. Those of us watching on YouTube and Facebook Live will see the big smile that came on my face when you said that. You mentioned new, God's mercies new every day, because I thought the same thing. Sunrise does represent, and this is for, who was the caller that we just had on? Deb, help me out here.
Paul.
Yeah, Paul.
Mm-hmm.
Every time that sun comes up, it is a new day. God's mercies are new. Hope is new. Everything is brand new opportunities. So I love that, Kay. And also, the image that came to my mind is you mentioned, you can drop that anchor whenever you need to. That anchor is Jesus. And of course, we have the image of the church being, the boat, the bark of Peter. It symbolizes, safety and security for me as well. So, Kay, I really love the picture you painted there for us. I really do.
Yeah. I do as well, Kay. And the thing that's interesting is that you and I live in the land of the beautiful sunsets in Arizona, but yet both of us would have in our picture sunrises, which I think is so fascinating. That's always we're very much drawn together. I've always felt that for the many, many years we've been close friends. And see, you learn something new every day about others. That's why it's so important that we have discussions like this. Kay, thank you so much, and thanks for listening. And you're always texting in, and you're such a fantastic prayer warrior. If you could ask your group to pray for Paul, we would really appreciate it, because he's struggling right now, and he's got to be on that boat with us, going the same way, and we want him to have that joyous sunrise feeling.
Yes, absolutely. I will definitely do that. So you guys are also my very first time ever calling into a radio show. So
yay!
How much I love you.
Oh, we love you too, Kay.
Yep, love and blessings to the family, Kay, as well. Thanks for.
Kay just became a new grandmother, a brand new grandmother.
Right?
Yes,
wow, congratulations,
baby Benedict, right?
Yeah, yep, that's right.
And he's beautiful.
How exciting! Yeah. How exciting! Congratulations on that, Kay. A blessed Advent to you and Christmas when that beautiful season gets here. 1-800-585-9396. How would you paint the picture of your life? Mary. We're going to hear from Mary in Kenosha, Wisconsin, listening on WSFI. Mary, this is Take Two with Jerry and Debbie and you. Thanks for joining us. Hello.
Hi, Jerry and Debbie. Thank you, and thank you for bringing me closer to God and to Mary. I kind of went away from the church, and this radio station has done so much to bring me closer. And
praise God.
So anyway, thank you for that. My painting is pretty detailed, and I'll go as quick as I can. I have 6 children and myself. I'm not married. I have that gray fog over me like you. I've had it my entire life. Are you there?
Yeah. You were cutting out a little bit, Mary, so
there?
if you can,
if you can. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I've had that cloud over me pretty much my entire life of depression. But and my children have been through so much, all of them. And so I would paint some dark clouds, but the rays of sunshine that you see coming through the clouds, I would have several of them through there because I believe that's God shining through every single time, and they would be very colorful and very bright and just beautiful rays. And I would be holding in my arms a statue of the Virgin Mary, and there would be some angels and saints around us, guardian angels. But our hearts would all be broken. Some of us would have tears in our hearts and on our faces. Some of us would have tears only in our hearts because we haven't been able to express the pain to the things. My oldest daughter went through a couple of broken engagements. My second daughter went through painful divorce. My son is bipolar and takes care of his 4 kids while his wife works. And then when my daughter, her fiance left her a month after the baby was born. And my 2 youngest boys lost their dad from glioblastoma at the ages of 8 and 9. And my dad passed away 30 years ago, and my mom just a couple of years ago. And my youngest boys have both suffered the loss of best friends. One was a suicide. One was from diabetes in his sleep. So anyway, one of my sons won't talk about it. So he's one of the ones with no tears on the face, but just in the heart. And my heart is full of worry. I worry constantly about my kids and my 5 grandchildren. And just, and I wonder what it would have been like had my dad not passed away at 64 and, if to help me raise my boys and help my other kids. I don't know if I'm forgetting anything, but that's the gist of it.
Yeah, Mary, first of all, Debbie, I know, joins me in saying our hearts are just so heavy for you right now, but because you use the word loss, and there's been so much loss and so many, I think, trying moments for you within your family and so forth. Let that not completely take away your hope, your encouragement. I want to share with you too. When I mentioned that year of darkness and depression that I went through, but I can remember really all through my life up to that point. There was, especially when I was young, like I was in high school. There was just a sadness, a pall of sadness that was over me that I just could not really pinpoint the reason for at that time. And I just realized now that it was over losses that I experienced. The loss of, my parents didn't stay together. My dad pretty much abandoned us. I didn't have that relationship, that core, that essential relationship, a son and his father. And then there were other things as well that happened and, directions that I went and all of that. But I just remember this sadness, and if I would have painted my picture then, it would have been dark clouds, lots of rain, no sunshine, all of that stuff. And so, Mary, I can relate to what you're experiencing, and I just really encourage you to try to reframe and turn it around. You've got those grandkids, you've got your 6 kids, and it sounds like they have their struggles, but they're blessings to you in so many ways as well. So, Debbie, I just want to let you jump in here because I could probably share so much more, but I've gone on too long.
No,
I'm sure.
I couldn't add anything to it. Just that, Mary, I agree with Jerry completely. Is to reframe and focus on the things that you have that are such incredible blessings in your life, because you have been filled with a lot of loss and a lot of sadness, but that doesn't have to define you. You can, because I will tell you something, Mary, going back to Paul's call, when I was sharing how my life has changed dramatically, if you had asked me to draw a picture right now of all the things that I've experienced and the loss that I'm continually feeling right now, it would be a very dark picture. But I truly choose to focus on the things that I know that are extreme blessings from God. And it allows me to lift that worry, Mary, because I came from a family of worriers. Okay? It allows me to lift that worry and to be in the moment and to just celebrate what is right in front of me. Like, for instance, Take Two with Jerry and Debbie and the family that we have grown to love. And so I don't know if that helps you at all, but I think, you're not alone in that, because I think sometimes when we have a lot of loss and a lot of sadness, then worry sets in, because we, obviously, clearly we don't want any more of it. And so the worries start to mount up. Do you think, I hope that brings you some, just some hope and support that we're right with you in this.
It does. And just like one other thing, I'm approaching 60, and I just don't know where to go with my life. I don't know where I belong. Should I just pray? Just pray?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. What you want to do is make sure that you get in a really good prayer regimen of maybe a novena or in adoration, and dedicate some time to it. I mean, a lot of times we expect God to give us that one, give me the sign right away, Lord, but spend some time with our Lord and let him just kind of be with you, you be with him, let him work on you. You'll see that all of a sudden things that you maybe didn't notice before, Mary, all of a sudden they came into view, and you're like, wait a minute, I could be good at this, or wait a minute, maybe the Lord's prompting me this way. And you'll feel those feelings, those promptings, and it's really beautiful how the good Lord works, especially that you just voiced that, Mary, so you can just imagine the good Lord's waiting to be with you.
Oh, so he'll talk to me, and I've tried so many times, but it's like, but I'll feel his presence.
Well, here's the thing. I would go to adoration. If you have an adoration chapel that you can go to, perpetual adoration, or even if there's certain times that you can go and just be in front of the Blessed Sacrament, or just go to church and sit in the front pew and just be there in front of the tabernacle and just be. You don't have to say anything, Mary. You don't have to do anything. You don't even have to pray. Just be. I used to tell this all the time to all of the folks in religious education. Just be, and allow the good Lord just to be with you, and you'll see that just internally you will feel obviously the presence, but you can feel certain promptings. Wouldn't you agree with that, Jerry?
Well, by all means, yeah. And I love what you said, Mary, what Debbie said. You don't have to, you can say whatever you want. And in fact, if you are so moved to do so, pour out your heart to God and just really share from the depths of your heart what you're feeling or thinking at the time. Or just go and sit there and say, Jesus, I don't know what to say. I don't know. I don't have anything to say. I don't know where to go. I don't know what to do. But you do. You have a plan. And I'm just going to come here and ask you to just simply impart that plan to my heart, little by little, day by day. And Mary, it'll happen. You have our prayers, and really, God will not let you down. How could he let down a prayer like that? So Mary, thank you. Yeah. We've got a lot of calls here, Mary. Yeah, do get a hold of us again, Mary. Thank you so much. And again, our prayers are with you. Dear folks, quickly, before we go back to calls, you will get, this is a promise from EWTN, you get free standard shipping on online orders of $100 or more through December 15th. All right, EWTN Publishing, there's a great new book available now at EWTN Religious Catalog, Saints versus Scoundrels, Debating Life's Greatest Questions by Dr. Ben Weicker. It's a collection of lively and imaginative conversations between the great truth tellers and the great error peddlers of history, including Jean-Jacques Rousseau debating St. Augustine, for example, Machiavelli debating St. Francis of Assisi, Henry VIII debating St. Thomas More, and Friedrich Nietzsche debating Edith Stein. Saints versus Scoundrels, Debating Life's Greatest Questions, available now at EWTNRC.com. Get free standard shipping on online orders of $100 or more through December 15th.
I'm doing that today. Okay, Lester, you've been waiting so patiently in Kansas, listening on Divine Mercy Radio. Hi, Lester. Welcome to Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. What's your picture in life?
My picture is more about an attitude, about a positive attitude. That my picture is I'm sitting on my deck, and my deck faces east, and there's a roof over it so I can sit out there when it rains. And after the spring evening shower, the sun starts to break through behind me, and a big rainbow appears in the eastern sky, and it's just really bright, bold colors. And there are a few raindrops still falling, just a few sprinkles here and there, but with the sun shining from behind me, they just look huge. And those raindrops, I think, probably represent a little bit of sadness in my life, but the rainbow just overpowers everything, and there's so much hope and joy in that. And that is kind of what I see. That is my picture.
You're very optimistic.
My picture even has a smell to it because it has that spring fresh rain.
Right.
To it. So I don't know if a picture can have a smell, but mine does.
Scratch and sniff.
Yeah, there you go.
Those are the good old days. Lester, let me ask you, you look at the glass half full instead of half empty, don't you?
Oh, definitely, yeah. I always try to look on the bright side. But I mean, my life has some sadness in it, too, and everything. But I try not to dwell too much on that, and usually that passes pretty quickly. I always try to find the bright side. You know, even in a death, my parents dying or something, I mean, it's sad, but I try to remember the good times and dwell on that and not so much on the loss, because they're still with me in spirit.
Yeah, and Lester, this is a great lesson for all of us, too, to realize that, you know, we're going to have that sadness, those moments of sorrow and grief and so forth. Those could be depicted in a painting, if you will, with clouds and rain and so forth. But without the rain, there is no rainbow. And one of my favorite things of all time is to see a rainbow. I absolutely love to see the rainbow, and we know from the Bible that it's God's sign that he will never again destroy the earth. It's a sign of God's covenant with his people. And so, yeah, it's beautiful. It takes a mixture of rain and sun to have a rainbow. Lester, you have really brought something to light here, important for all of us, I think.
Yeah. And Lester, you're precisely the reason why Jerry and I are doing the first Stand Tall retreat. I have to tell you, because it's exactly this, how you conduct your life is exactly what we want others to kind of tap into, and to not have all of the things of our past, all of the things that have weighed us down, take us into the future, because that will just make us, like you said, Jerry, hunched over. And that's why we want to do the Stand Tall retreat. So you're a perfect lead into this promotion. Folks, we still have some openings for, you can register, see the retreat agenda. It's going to be a fabulous retreat. Go to jerryanddebbie.com. We want you to stand tall, okay, so that you can just kind of shed all that baggage and really just be in front of God and know how much he loves you. Lester, that was a great call. That was a home run with me. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks, Lester. And on YouTube, EWTN's YouTube channel, Bernfried from Germany said, in short, from a happy childhood and teen years through a dark and long valley of sin and suffering, and then back into the light of God. That's what Bernfried's painting would look like. And Michael from Fresno, my painting would be me in a pool of muck and mire, sin, and Jesus coming down from a cloud on a rope ladder, pulling me up to a beautiful meadow. I love that.
I love that.
Yeah, thank you both for weighing in on
awesome.
social media.
Wow. And we heard from Germany. Did you say it was from Germany?
Germany, yeah.
Nice. Beautiful. Okay, Ray, you're up next in Massachusetts, listening on Emmanuel Radio. Hi, Ray. Welcome to Take Two.
Hello. I just want to start off with thanking you for having your wonderful show. I always feel rejuvenated after I hear you two.
Oh, bless you, Ray.
Thanks, Ray.
Okay, my picture would be, I had a dream few nights ago of a little tiny child about an inch tall running wild, just running everywhere over the roads. And he was about to get stepped on, and a big hand just came down and scooped him up and kept him in the palm of his hand. And that was kind of like my life. I was running wild in my younger years, and I went away from the Catholic faith. And I got in a lot of bad jackpots because of not relying on my God. Now, my life's changed drastically. I went to the EWTN family celebration here in Worcester last September, and I sat before the Blessed Sacrament. They had adoration there. And I focused for a good solid hour on what was going on. And I asked Jesus to come into my heart. And ever since that I usually go on a retreat once a year. And I skipped that because it was the same weekend of the EWTN family thing, and I didn't want to miss that. But my life's gotten so much better. My mom passed away October 31st, and I had to go down to help bury her in Florida. And that whole side of the family was in, like, very deep depression. And I said, well, don't feel bad. Ma went to heaven because she'll go to heaven because she was always teaching all of us to get back to the faith. And out of all of us, I stuck by her all these years. And even though I had my ups and downs and my trials and tribulations, I went back to the faith many years ago. And I wasn't perfect at it, but it's getting better every day. And I try to look at the good side, like that last caller said. You gotta get the positive out of things. You can't dwell on the negatives of the past. But that's
Ray, what was your mother's name, Ray, so we can include her in our book?
Her name was Margaret.
Margaret, okay. Well, Ray, what sticks out to me about your call is you mentioned that little person about an inch tall running around on the streets of life, about to be stepped on, and it just I think that combined with some of the other callers, Debbie, I think to me has highlighted the fact that it highlights our essential insignificance in terms of our, in relation to God. We are nothing, He is everything, and yet we are insignificant in that sense, but we are most significant to Him in the sense that His love, He created us out of love. And of course, like you shared with, I believe it was, one of the other callers, Debbie, if Donna, I believe, if she had been the only person, Jesus still would have come and died. So I think it shows that balance, the scales are in balance, our significance versus our great dignity and worth as children of a loving God. And I think that's come out to me on the show, especially with the help of Ray right now.
Me too. And Ray, I just want to say one thing. That picture that you painted for us, and it shows that child running around. You're a free spirit, and the good Lord uses those free spirits because they are ones that will go into areas and shine a light, like you did with your family when your mom passed away. And I'll tell you, Ray, it's pretty awesome. Actually, your picture of life speaks volumes, and I think it's wonderful. God has great things, I believe, planned for you because you are that person that can go into different environments and make a difference. I love it, Ray. That was a truly inspiring call of yours.
Thank you, Ray, for joining us, listening to Emmanuel Radio in Worcester, and we're going to go to Burlington, Wisconsin, to Carol, listening on WSFI. Carol, we have about 90 seconds, but we wanted to get your painting of your life here on Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. Hi, Carol.
Oh, hi. I'm a trained artist, and I'm the addictions counselor that calls in sometimes too. I'm an artist and also trained in art therapy. And I just wanted to say that when people do this, they don't expect perfection. There's going to be no maybe one painting or effort that's going to wrap it all up. And I think it's really good that you're focusing on this because as Catholics, we are incarnational in our faith and our behavior, and so by doing the paintings, we are making manifest our spirituality and what's deep inside. As I have 3 art degrees, and as a trained artist, that the one thing is if you make something and you've seen it somewhere else, then it's not your own. It's sort of something that you're erping up. And so I would just urge everybody to be, individual and not be too hard on themselves making the picture. I have an exhibition at Quincy University in Quincy, Illinois. I have 52 pieces, and I had to really work hard this past year to get the pictures done. And I made a picture called Joe Black's Portal. And being in recovery, the only image in the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous is that they refer to is an arch, that you walk through an arch to a new way of life. That's very important that you go from one side to the other. And so I made a piece that's pretty representational that somebody's coming through an arch, and inside there's all these colors and patterns, and that's what I have from being Catholic and also in recovery, that I've the inner life can be very rich. And so I think that's one of the best portraits of myself in my life so far.
Beautiful.
And also don't forget that John Paul his symbol of the Blessed Virgin on his, the papal shield or whatever.
Right,
and if it's too hard for people to do paintings, maybe just do a shield with symbols.
Beautiful.
That's all I got.
Carol, I have to tell you, you're an answer to my prayers, because I was going to take out the swing set that I've always put into my painting. But now that you said, keep it and be creative, because it is part of me. But we also wanted an expert to weigh in, and you did. So thank you for feeling prompted by the Spirit and weighing in on this wonderful conversation. Kevin and Raul and the others, we're so sorry we couldn't get to you, but you can always keep the conversation going on Facebook, or you can email us at take2, the number 2, at EWTN.com.
Tomorrow, Debbie, you are not going to be with us, but we've got a wonderful guest. We're going to talk about the best Christmas ever. What can people look forward to tomorrow?
Yes, we got Rebecca Even as a guest. I may be with us.
Good.
I'm hoping that I can change the schedule. So Rebecca Even's going to teach us how to have the best Christmas ever. I'm so excited about that.
That is really cool. Looking forward to that. Thanks to everybody, the show team, the affiliates, you, the listeners. I'm Jerry Usher with Debbie Georgianni. Have a beautiful and blessed day. We'll be back together with you again tomorrow.